Why is everyone being weird about my apartment? It was a 2-bedroom with huge windows and brand new appliances in downtown for an unbelievable price. When I called the landlord, he said, "It's been a struggle to rent out for obvious reasons," and kept apologizing like something was wrong with it. When I said I'd take it, he paused at me for a long time before saying, "Seriously?" I had no idea what he meant, but I signed the lease that afternoon. My friend Josh came to help me move, and when I opened the door to show him the place, he literally backed into the hallway. He asked why I would rent this place, and when I asked what was wrong with it, he just kept shaking his head saying, "Dude, you know what's wrong with it." He helped me carry boxes but refused to come inside, and left everything in the hallway for me to bring in myself. My girlfriend Ruby came over that night with a housewarming gift, but stopped in the doorway like there was an invisible wall. She asked if I was pranking her, and when I said no, she started crying actual tears, saying she couldn't believe I'd chosen to live here. She said she'd wait for me in the car while I got my things because she couldn't stay another second, and we ended up going to her place instead. I Googled the address looking for murders or deaths, but found nothing except normal rental listings going back years. I checked crime statistics for the neighborhood, and it was one of the safest in the city. I searched for structural problems or lawsuits or anything that would explain why everyone acted like my apartment was cursed, but came up completely empty. My parents drove up to visit, and my mom physically recoiled when she walked in. My dad pulled me aside and asked if I was having financial troubles, because surely I could afford something better than this. When I told him this was actually expensive for me, he said, "Son, no amount of savings is worth living in a place like this," but wouldn't explain what he meant. I started inviting people over just to see their reactions, and every single person had the same response of absolute horror. My co-worker Zoe said it was the worst apartment she'd ever seen. My neighbor from across the hall asked why I would do this to myself. The pizza delivery guy asked if I was being held here against my will and offered to call someone for me. I wondered if maybe there was something wrong with how it smelled that I'd gotten used to, so I bought air quality meters and had professional testing done. Everything came back normal with no mold or gas leaks or chemical problems. I hired a home inspector who said structurally it was one of the soundest apartments he'd seen, but he still seemed uncomfortable the entire time he was there. Then I thought maybe someone had died here recently, so I talked to the other tenants in the building. The old woman next door said nobody had lived in my apartment for at least 5 years, and she'd never understood why since it was the nicest unit in the building. The guy downstairs said multiple people had rented it, but nobody ever lasted more than a week, though he didn't know why. I brought in a priest to bless the apartment thinking maybe people were sensing something supernatural. He walked through every room with his holy water, but said he didn't feel any negative presence, though he admitted he wouldn't want to live here himself. When I asked why, he just said, "You really don't feel it?" and left without explaining. Ruby finally agreed to try staying over, but she couldn't sleep.